Hello, everyone. So now me and my team member will be talking about the impact of recent tariffs on the company Saputo cheese, so which is one of the Canada's largest dairy processors. So our group number is five, and I have my team members in my group: Prabjot Kaur, then we have Pritpal Singh, Ravinder Pal Singh, Ramandeep Singh. So now I'll be talking about the summary. So next slide, please. So recent tariff increase have created the major challenges for every company supply chain and profits. So in this particular case study, we will be exploring about how tariffs has affected the cross-border dairy trade and the strategic response which company has implemented. And then we will be talking about the recommendations for building long-term resilience in this particular industry. Next slide. So, cheese is basically a major Canadian export, and international trade plays a critical role in sustaining the dairy sector. So, traditionally, Canada and the USA have maintained a strong dairy trade relationship, but the recent tariff hikes have disrupted supply chain and created the new challenges for companies like Saputo. So, despite facing tariff rates quota with duties up to 245%, so this company has reported 17.34 billion revenue and 1.509 billion in adjusted EBITDA for year 2024. So, despite of this protectionist policy, Canada exported over $100 million in cheese to the US, so underscoring Spito's adaptability and resilience. So these figures highlight the importance of trade agreement in maintaining economic stability for dairy processors. So next slide, please. So now I'll be talking about the overview of a company and the key products which company deals. So company name is Saputo, and it's basically a Canadian dairy company, and the company is based in Montreal, and it was founded in 1954 by Saputo family. So it is the leading dairy processor in North America. So if I'll talk about the key products, companies dealing with various cheese types, and every year company is processing almost 11 billions of milk into different kinds of cheese. And if I'll talk about the company's competitive advantage, this company maintains a strong brand presence, so and dealing with 60 countries and having the advanced processing facilities and a global distribution network. And then I'll just hand over to my colleague.
Thank you, Manpreet. Now I will talk about the trade volume and importance in Canada-US trade. Let's start by looking at the trade relationship between Canada and US. When it comes to dairy products, especially cheese, Saputo, a leading dairy company, is one of the top three cheese products in US. Cheese is a key product traded between both countries. In 2023, the US exported more than $488 million in dairy products to Canada. This shows how important and dependent both countries are on each other for dairy trade. But tariffs affect this trade. Canada applies tariff trade quotas that can up to 245%, impacting Saputo's ability to source products affordability and efficiently. To deal with these challenges, Saputo expanded in the US by buying cheese plants in New Mexico. As a result, they generated $11.5 billion in North American sales in 2023. This helped us strengthen their supply chain and reduce their risks. Next slide, please. Now let's talk about the tariffs themselves. Canada uses a supply chain system to protect its local dairy farmers. Under this system, taxes on imported dairy like cheese can go high as 300%. These tariffs limit foreign competition, which helps Canadian farmers, but they make it very difficult for companies like Saputo to manage costs if they import products. In recent years, some trade talks have led to changes. The US has argued that these high tariffs are unfair and has pushed for more market access, while some agreements have slightly reduced the restrictions. The import duties are still a major factor in pricing and supply chain planning. Next slide, please. There are several reasons why tariffs on cheese have changed or stayed in place. First, trade conflicts between trade and US. Canada and US have caused a relationship in the form of tariffs. Second, even though Canada keeps its supply chain system, international pressure, especially from the US, has caused some policy shifts. Third, Canada uses market protection to help local farmers compete against cheaper imports. Fourth, trade deals like the USMCA have shaped how tariffs work, giving some access to US products but still protecting Canada producers. Finally, Saputo has adjusted to all of this by growing its business in the US and sourcing smarter to reduce the financial impact of these tariffs. And the next slide will be discussed by Ramandeep Singh.
Hi everyone, my name is Ramandeep Singh, and today we are talking about one of the famous cheese company, that is Saputo. First of all, I am very thankful to Manpreet and the Prabhut for explaining the major concepts, so we can easily dive into the other concepts of the company. So let's dive into the sharp reality of Saputo cheese supply chain. First of the major hurdle that the cheese company is facing right now is the tariff. It's almost 300% on the US cheese imports are a huge hurdle. Even when Saputo owns the US facility, bringing cheese back into Canada feels like paying a luxury tax on your own product. I think this is the biggest problem. The next thing I think they are facing a problem is production cost. Production costs are melting margins, duties on milk, proteins, and specialty cheeses drive up the price of making even the basic product. Then comes transportation and logistics. Freight costs are rising, and the border delays are disrupting just-in-time system Saputo depends on. Next slide, please. Uh, Now we are talking about the key risks. This challenge brings serious risk. First, rising cost secures profit margin and force price hikes. Second, lead time delays, custom checks, and policy changes, slow deliveries hurting supply reliability. Third, the US suppliers instability. With the market unpredictability, some may pull back or renegotiate. And finally, consumer behavior is shifting. As prices rise, many turn to local affordable cheese, risking Saputo imported product demand. Next slide. So how is Saputo responding? They are acquired US cheese plants to cut production costs, but importing still triggers those high tariffs across the industry. There is a push for better trade terms under CUSMA and CETA. Some are using tariff engineering, reworking product classification to fit lower duty categories. The key takeaway in today's climate success depend on flexibility, strategic thinking, and trade smart planning. Companies' ability to adapt will determine whether they stay ahead or melt under pressure. So the next slide is described by one of my colleague, Ravinder Pal Singh.
Thank you, Raman, to hand over this me. So if we talk about the strategic solution, we can find more suppliers. Uh, what I mean by the more suppliers, work with the cheese makers in the Europe and other countries, so we don't depend too much with the USA. So, and one other option we have is make more in Canada, grow our production in Canada to avoid tariff and support local farmers. This is the best option to if they choose. With the help of this option, they can also help the local farmers and local products. Next is change product types. Look into packaging or how bigger cheese and lower tariffs, and we can also bring the partly finished products, and we can make a full product in Canada. So this is also a good solution. And USA local and USA suppliers is the last option. Focus on the Canadian dairies and groups are build strong partnership with European suppliers so they can cut the tariff rate from the USA. So can I have please next slide? So the next slide is if we talk about logistics and cost management. If we build smarter warehousing, using the warehousing to delay paying more higher tariffs, and they can automation warehouses with the help of them, they can save time and money, and they can save tariff as well. If we talk about the free trade zone, keep the processed cheese in the area where we can delay or avoid the tariff totally. So last point is manage cost. So adjust prices, offer premium products, and work with USA supplier to get better deals or share the extra costs. With the help of these points I have like described, they can cut the logistics and cost of management. They can manage all of these with these points. Thank you. And next slide described by the Pritpa.
Thank you, Ravinder. Case study analysis. Saputo Incorporation faced challenges from US Canada cheese tariffs and responded with strategic measures to protect its operations and margins. The company expanded its US manufacturing footprints by acquiring plants in Wisconsin and New Mexico, reducing reliance on cross border exports. It upgraded logistics by consolidating and sorry, uh, consolidating and warehouse and improving transportation efficiency. Spoto also increasing cheese imports from Europe and under the CETA agreement to benefit from duty-free access. Additionally, the company focus on marketing high volume premium cheese to preserve profit margin despite rising costs. On the next slide, effectiveness of strategy. Saputo Incorporation has gained more supply flexibility, reducing U.S. exposure and improved logistics through manufacturing expansion and cross-border transportation optimization. However, ongoing issues including uncertain tariff policies and incentivizing global competition and high capital expenditure requirement of maintaining and upgrading facilities. These challenges continue to pressure long-term planning and profitability. On the next slide, uh, a recommendation to reduce reliance on U.S. import, Saputo should expand its domestic production capability. In Canada, investing in local manufacturing facilities can shield the company from unpredictability of tariff rate quotes, which may rise as high as to 45%. Uh, Canadian operations improve supply chain reliance, cut down on transportation and import costs, and offer better control over product quality and delivery timelines. It also meets growing consumer preference for locally sourced products. In the long run, this strategy will boost exporters' self-sufficiency, ex- enhance its uh, competitiveness, and reduce its vulnerability to trade policies in both domestic and global markets. On the next slide, in the conclusion, rising cheese tariffs have challenges the reliance of Canadian dairy companies. Saputo has responded with a comprehensive strategy, including geographical diversification through U.S. Equation, cut optimization, and improvement in supply chain efficiency. These efforts strengthen its ability to navigate future trade uncertainty. Looking ahead, sustained investment in innovation, automation, and advanced technology will be essential for scooters to maintain its competitiveness, as improve operational efficiency, and adapt to evolving market conditions.
Uh, this is our presentation, and these are the references. And thank you for your attention as we explored how Saputo is navigating tariffs challenges through strategic adaptation and innovation. We would now like to open the floor. Do you have any question or thoughts on Saputo's approach to managing trade pressures in the dairy product industries? Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.